I've heard the word catatonic before, but I've often wondered, does that apply to church people? Next on Table Talk. All right, welcome back, folks. And did I throw you a curveball with the word catatonic? Has nothing to do with felines and a liquid, right? Did I throw you off on that one?
Oh, I missed you on the tonic part.
Yeah, catatonic.
Between your opening line and this, our producer Alan made a joke that I'm still trying not to laugh at. Sorry. What's up?
So what's up?
Yep.
Hey, I'm Kyle Gatlin, and we're here with
Nick Shepard and
Sarah Francis.
All right. So did the word catatonic throw you off?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you heard it before?
I have not.
You've not heard the word catatonic
I have
before?
not, no.
I mean, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like passed out, like in a coma, right? Or basically.
Yeah, sort of. And of course, my first visualization of this is from Gilligan's Island.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So way before y'all's time.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes, definitely.
So Gilligan's Island, 3-hour cruise that turned into a series of 7 castaways on an island, right? And there was basically a voodoo witch doctor type thing that put the professor in a catatonic state. He was standing, but just staring off, and he never moved for a whole part of the show. And the whole idea was, how do we get him out of this? But he was catatonic. And so I've heard of other situations like the coma type thing that you're talking about, where now you guys can Google it, because I just sort of thought this just a second ago, that sometimes it appears that they're wide awake, but they're not wide awake. They're catatonic because their eyes are open and whatever. So y'all probably can find this out.
Well, Sarah and I are looking at the exact same thing on Google. Wow, I've taken up more airtime. So Sarah, would you mind?
Google says it is of an immovable or unresponsible stupor. And so the condition of catatonia is what it's talking about. But yeah, I guess you would be awake and aware. You just couldn't move. Kind of like locked-in syndrome. But
what syndrome? What syndrome?
It's a medical. You're aware of everything, but you can't move.
It's called locked-in.
Locked-in syndrome.
Wow.
Not the same thing as like night terror or night sleep paralysis. That's a different nightmare.
That's different, yeah.
Okay, y'all teaching me something, because I had never heard of it. When I'm thinking locked in, I'm focused. Is what I think of locked in, but that's opposite.
Like comatose state, but you're fully aware of what's going on.
Typically, you hear this word after, like from a physical perspective, after pretty big like traumatic events. There's a link in the definition she was looking at. Catatonia, the noun form, unusual movement and behavior arising from a serious mental health condition. It may involve repetitive or purposeless overactivity, resistance to passive movement, or negativism. I don't know what that is, but it is basically somebody being out of whack, not necessarily like dead to the world, but there's a disconnect between them and like they're not fully present, and they can look like a bunch of different things.
Okay.
Can be mental health, can be physical after like a neurological issue thing. It's kind of a pretty big bucket.
Okay. Well, didn't exactly match my definition of catatonic, of staring off and doing absolutely nothing. So, which gives us back.
It absolutely can.
It can be that.
Yeah.
But that's just part of the definition.
Medically, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings me back to wait a second. We just started a new series.
Yes, we did.
We started a new series.
You were there.
At Sunday. Yeah, I was supposed to be there, I heard. So, and I was
feeling punchy today. I'm sorry.
I was only supposed to preach 13 minutes, is what I was told, but I went a little bit longer than that. But
I thought they were still giving you a hard time from Christmas. I didn't realize that was I think you did great.
No, I don't. Laura Grace, our traditional choir director, was telling me keep it 13 minutes, but one of our tech guys, Logan, put a timer of 20 minutes that I didn't know he had put up there. So, but I didn't pay attention to it anyway. But he said I was under 20 minutes at the first service. Then at the next service, I think I went 24 or something like that. But anyway, in that message, the kicking off Why Us, Why Now series, and this revolves around the church after Jesus. Why those people in particular, and why at this particular time in history were those people called on to take the gospel, right? And so we translate that to us today. It's after Easter. What are we going to do? Why us and why now? And so the idea this past week was staring. Jesus ascended. The guys were all staring at the sky. And the question, the two men in white said, why are you looking at the sky? Why are you looking? Why are you there? So didn't go into a lot of specifics about some things. So we're going to take a little bit deeper dive with this today. And so the question is, why do we think people believe that they're engaged with the church, they're engaged with God, they're engaged with Jesus, but they're really just staring? They're just really watching. Why do people think one thing, but as we observe as what we would say professional church people these days, right? We observe, no, they're not really engaged. They're just sort of watching.
Or going through a set of motions that may appear engaged.
Yeah.
Sort of like catatonia.
Yeah. I mean, there's real... Yeah, no, 100% right.
All right. Yeah.
The only reason I kept on going on the definition is I think that actually every part of that does have a place here. So you're asking not only why do people stare, why do some people believe that they're not, even though that is what they're doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have, in all churches, we're not talking about just one church. You can look across the board and say to the number of people, I know you're engaged with this church. I see it, I feel it, I hear it, I experience it. And there's other people, you go, yeah, you're just showing up. Yep, right. And I know not everybody's going to sing. I know not everybody's going to clap. Not everybody's going to raise their hands. But you can look up there when y'all are on stage, and if you're looking out, you'll look at a few people and go, yeah, you're just standing there, but everything I'm saying is going right over your head, and you're thinking about you're somewhere else, right? I'm wondering why do people think they're okay when they're really simply just staring?
I think a lot of it can be what our parents tell us to do is go to church and you'll be good. Those that grew up in church, they've been told that their lives, go to church and you'll be good. Or go to church because that's what you're supposed to do. And so a lot of it can be, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Almost like I do this to receive this. I do this to look this way. Or I do this because I know that I'm supposed to. Or it might just be, I know that I need to be good. By being good, I need to be at church on Sunday. And so a lot of it can be that, of them just checking off the box on Sunday morning. Or even people that take notes. They might take notes and then never look back at them. Or they might even feel conviction and then just completely forget it by lunch because they've got so many other things on their plate because they've realized they've let it slip. Or maybe they were on fire and now they're not. And now they're just showing up on Sunday because at one point I felt something. And so there's a lot of different avenues you can go down with that. But those are the ones that are at the top of my head when I think of that.
And I really identify with those people that take notes and never look at them again. Happened to about half my classes in college and grad school.
Neurologically, that actually is still beneficial, though.
Oh, I know. You should remember it better, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Even though you don't look back at it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So if the question is, Sarah, what I just heard you say a minute ago was... And my brain just broke. That's okay.
What I think I heard you say...
But sorry. I swear I just had it, but it just blitzed out. But when you were talking, the rabbit trail, my mind is going down in response was sometimes I think it may just be a result of what people grew up with.
Yeah.
Where I think it's really intriguing how, especially in the church, but kind of just everywhere, the idea that we all can use the exact same word and mean 60% the same thing, but each of us really mean something quite different, right? Love, great example. I got a friend right now who him and his wife are really struggling, and I think part of it is that when they're each using the word love, they're actually, those definitions aren't lining up. So I think when people think about the idea of church, right, and I don't know, I think that some people, for some reason, just have this very specific conception of what church is, that for them, going and being involved as they are doesn't blip their radar because they are checking the boxes that they either inherited or maybe just figured out on their own, whatever it is. But we're here with a different set of boxes, right? I mean, and that's the heart of your question is, what I'm hearing is, why don't those boxes measure up? Why don't they line up 1-to-1? I think sometimes it can be just a laziness thing. I think a lot of times folks are just overwhelmed and they're like, I don't know if I have more to give right now, even though they do, but they're almost underestimating themselves in a way. And then you got to drill down more into, hey, well, where does your conception of what good, healthy church participation, where does that come from? And is there stuff that we're missing there?
There's the number that I was recently looking at with the folks that would consider this their home church. Covenant would be their home church. It's a place where they would attend Easter, Christmas, weddings, funerals, stuff like that. And those who are engaged with the church. In other words, they're serving somewhere is about the only way we can track that.
Yeah.
I'm not, even though it's what people give is a measure, is a tool, is a measurement, the engagement really is beyond giving.
Yeah.
The engagement is, the couple guys that our tech team has that are helping them, in the sound and stuff like that. Those guys just give up their time. They show up. They're needed. They show up. And so that list for us, when I looked at that list, about half the people that we would consider somewhat active,
Yeah.
that they come to church regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and regularly means once every 5 to 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Oh, really?
That would be regular these days.
Oh, wow.
About half of that number is actually engaged in our church on some level, at least in one area. Whether they're on the prayer team, because some of them are homebound, but they can be involved in the prayer team. There's some others that Cancer Care Ministries, they're one thing that they're doing, or Celebrate Recovery is their one thing that they're doing. Others that, we have some all-stars that they're involved in like 7 or 8 things. Yeah, type thing. And we've already discussed off air the couple people that fit that category.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still about half that you would go, okay, are the other half staring?
Mhm.
Are they staring? Are they engaged? Or are they doing something? Are they engaged in a way that I don't know about, which could be possibly the case. I think the hardest thing for us to measure is all those folks that are maybe watching like this.
Yeah.
They're watching online somewhere, and we have, depending on how you count, 100 plus on average watch online. I'm looking at my guy behind the camera, and I think nod your head, a couple hundred we think actually a couple hundred people watch online. Okay. Of 200 different people, right? On some level, at some point. And we're not talking about 30-second views and all that stuff. So when we talk about staring, you literally are when you're online.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hadn't heard anybody
Mm-hmm.
tell me, hey, I was watching the 9:55 service and I got up and dancing when they were singing about dancing on my grave. I got up and danced at their home. No, most people are sitting in their beds or, selling
Lunch.
Yeah. And so you're literally doing more staring than the person that actually comes in person. But are they engaged? Well, I talked to a guy literally last 2 weeks ago that, yeah, there's he was watching. I've been watching online the last 2 or 3 months, and there's a thing that he's engaged with. So, it's not across the board. That's the low hanging fruit if we talk about it. But we still don't know. We still don't know. We have a number of people. Again, there's got Alan. Do you do the Wednesday lunch thing, or just one? Just one. So our camera guy goes to Wednesday lunch. Group of men that have a study, but I don't know what 4 or 5 of those go. Oh, Nick goes. You know,
I'm there.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
There's like 4 or 5 of those guys from other churches.
I'd say the majority. The majority? Yeah. Half.
Yeah.
Yeah. About half from Covenant, half not. And that it wanes and
So
waxes week to week.
So they may go worship in the church, but they're engaged with that Bible study, so they may not do any other things at their church. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to determine what staring looks like. It's literally sometimes an individual basis, and I hesitate making overgeneralized statements because in today's world, and we had shared recently about somebody that's been isolated for 4 years and hadn't had touch for 4 years and stuff, and then shows up at one of our ministries. Boom, already engaged, but not staring anymore. Been staring for 4 years. So things like that. That's just. Let's go into little details here. You have a comment, Sarah?
Oh, I was just going to ask a question that I know you have an answer for. What is the benefit of being engaged of this church?
What's the benefit of being engaged?
Yeah, that's a big question.
Yeah. The benefit is a mutual connection with other believers, people that you hope believe similar to you. Okay. There's a reason why people attend different churches and different sects, SECTS.
Yep.
And they're involved with those. We have a number of people that will attend the Roman Catholic Church because they have a similar, they believe similarly, or the Jehovah's Witnesses, or the Latter-day Saints. Or there's a huge group of people that I see regularly meeting on 231 that are Hindu, but they're all gathered together because they all believe similar to that. So there's always not only comfort but encouragement from serving alongside, engaged with someone alongside who believes similar to you, because it actually helps you to feel I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Right. And also that mutual encouragement could be a mutual encouragement to pursue not just staring, but stepping up and stepping out. So that is always there. I think if you simply trying to engage in something just to say I'm doing something, then that's the wrong motivation.
No, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know about when you were in high school, Sarah, just like last year or whatever it was, 5 years ago.
3,
But
yeah. 3.5.
Okay, yeah. I know Nick has come across. There's kids locally that have to get 50 hours in to qualify for National Honor Society or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have to do that?
I wasn't in National Honor Society. I did everything else.
Okay. Did you have to do anything?
Say that again.
Did you have to do anything that they said you need so many hours of community service?
Service hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing it to get something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we had we had some great kids serve here.
Yeah.
But they were serving initially to get the hours in.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I was brought here for school reasons as well. But I stayed. Like I am well over the amount that I thought that I was supposed to get, but I'm here because I want to serve and I see the benefit in that. And because I want to serve the one true and living God. I mean, there's a million things to do with that. Yes, I mean, that's the thing, is that you can come here for a different motive, but then in the process to realize, wow, this is a great community.
Yeah.
Wow, we're doing something bigger than ourselves, and that we are growing closer to Christ together through serving and being the hands and feet of Christ. But
Yeah,
all the things.
and that's why, I mean, we really don't want to get into the plug and play thing.
Mhm.
We just need to plug a hole. I need you to play, right?
Find a hole
we-
and fill it. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that, but there are times when sometimes we do that, but the end result is exactly what you said.
Yeah.
You've experienced something that takes you beyond what you initially
Right.
were there for.
Mhm.
But by and large, we want to match people's gifts. So I got a cough. So
Well, you know that spiritual gifts has been a big drum to beat of mine for the past few months. Going back to the conversation we were having a minute ago about like people's definition of what good participation looks like, where I think a lot of people came up in churches where plug and play. And what we're meaning is, oh, we need somebody to be a small group leader. The first person who is willing to, great, your willingness means Jesus has put you there for such time as this. Go get him, Esther. Like,
yeah,
but that's not the same thing as actually gifted or trained to do that,
Right.
right? Willingness does not necessarily translate to a good idea all the time.
Right.
But within that, like, I think there are some really faithful, really awesome people who have been taught by church leaders that if your butt's in a seat or if your name is on a roster or you're on a list somewhere then that's okay. But if we all sit and think about it, that's not the same thing as being fully present, right? Sarah, there's a version of your time, especially your first run here that, oh, this is for school. Oh, this is obligatory. And we've all experienced this. I know how many gen ed classes did I take in my bachelor's that I didn't care at all about.
Yeah.
Like, there's an obligatory thing. And I think some people bring that energy to their church stuff. Oh, I'm doing this because if I kind of don't, or if I don't do this, my mom will probably start fussing at me, even as like a 40-year-old, right? Or I lived for 40 years and my mom always fussed at me if I didn't, so I guess now I do because this is just who we are. It's not the same thing as in Sarah's case, what I actually saw of you, which was you jumping in with both feet,
Yeah.
right? Even if there is something that is quote unquote commanded of us, there's actually a lot about what Paul talks about in Romans. It's the law, the stuff that we have to do versus this other way of living that's about responding to how good Jesus is. How good Jesus is to give us a community that is well established that gets to do the mission of the church together, right? I mean, how great is it that people who have a gifting and a passion to love folks that are coming out of a lot of brokenness can jump in with both feet and just do it and then be healed themselves in the process? Or obviously next generation stuff, student ministry, kid ministry, that's all background check gated for good reason. But like, how many times have I heard somebody say, student ministry is not there are very few moderate responses to it. It's either, yes, I love that. I love teenagers. I love investing in the next generation. Or a sixth grader would probably burn my house down. No, I'm not letting him in my home. Right? Like there's very little in between. So what I'm saying is, I think one of the kind of dynamics here is when people are even saying, I need to show up for church, what do they even mean? Right? Because what I mean is, are you fully engaged? Are you keeping an eye up not only for what is this place giving to me, which I think that question, the second question, by the way, what benefit does being engaged give? Even that, the phrasing of that question makes it about the person showing up to receive and not about, are you here to be part of a community and buy in too and love others because we need you as well. I don't know. But I think the staring thing oftentimes comes from people who just don't take themselves like seriously enough spiritually. They don't really believe they have an impact. They don't really believe that they are necessary to the life and ministry of this church.
Like they have nothing to offer.
And maybe, I'm trying to be as gracious as I can, maybe they came up in a place like that. Obligatory mindset is anathema, is the opposite of what I'm describing right now. because I have to be there or I'm going to be judged is not the same thing as this place exists right now in a way that Jesus has ordained me to be a part of it. I have a part to play.
Yeah.
It just goes so much further than, I guess I should serve somewhere. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is one of those things that you can't like systematize, right? You can't count the people who have that mindset. It only comes out through fruits. Can you shall know them by their fruit? But I think each of us could think about certain folks at the church who were like, oh yeah, they're all in. They're fully engaged. They're looking for spaces that need the Holy Spirit, and they take themselves seriously enough to say, I've got those gifts in the Spirit. I can do that. Great.
They're not all in. They're not just all in. They're locked in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very easy of you to say.
There you go.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Got to bring it back to somewhere. So Sarah, I might ask a change of directions just a little bit,
Okay.
sort of a prelude maybe to second part of the series. What's the difference between staring and waiting?
Oh, okay. So biblically, yeah, we see in the upper room, they waited until the Holy Spirit came upon them before you received power, Acts 1:8, all the things that we keep mentioning here at Covenant. And that's the difference between stepping in and waiting. Yeah. So I wrote down if it's a good thing, like if it's an intrusive thought and it's a good thing, hey, I want to help in this way. I don't see a problem as long as you count the cost of, do I have time and resources for this? And we haven't even the church to go for it and do it. So I think stepping in, there's not a bad time to step in. Like here at Covenant and other churches, we shouldn't wait because we're nervous or we're scared or we don't know how this is going to turn out. If we see a good thing and we see a resource to fill it and we have the okay to do it, we should step into it. Even if we don't know if it's specifically from the Holy Spirit, if it's a good thing, it might be from the Holy Spirit. And so we should step out into that. But I also think like if you're seriously in your prayer time, considering, hey, Lord, do you want me to do this thing? And you receive some like pushback of like, I don't know, there's some anxiety about this. Like maybe you should wait. Maybe you should seek someone who knows more about this area in the church to help you, whoever that be. We talk about that in foundations and everywhere else. So like talk to whoever is in charge of that and say, hey, is this a good thing that I can help out with? This would be a good time to step in. So I do think like there is discernment and decision making when you talk about stepping in, but I think it goes both ways. If it's a good thing and you know how to do it and you have the yes and okay, go for it. But that comes with asking the right people and saying, hey, my heart's in this place. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So delve a little bit deeper into your life.
Okay.
Just for fun. And we can do it and pick on you because we have you on the spot. All right. So Jesus did, was it Acts 1:4, wait. Then wait, told him to wait in Jerusalem. I think it's wait. I think it was Acts 1:4. He said, wait here in Jerusalem. And then the Holy Spirit will come. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So what part of your life in the recent past that you were forced to wait, or is there a part where you're thinking that you're going to have to wait in the future?
Yes. Multiple times where I've been in a season of waiting. Even right now, like I end here in May and that makes me so sad, but I know that God has good plans for the future. And so I originally wanted to go straight to seminary. I wanted to just do that. I wanted to go through ordination. That was the steps that normal people take. And that's what I wanted to do. And I felt ready.
Wait a second. You said normal people
take
ordination? Oh, ain't nothing normal about us getting ordained. We're abnormal people.
That's true.
Yeah, very small minority of people, and we're not normal. Okay, Nick and I are living proof that we're not normal. So, all right, go ahead, continue.
So, anyways, that is I'm going to use my fingers in quotations here, normal route for pastoral work.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, thank you.
So anyways, and so that's what I wanted to do, and I felt very strongly about it, but then the opportunity arose for me to go to Auburn for a year, and I was like, Lord, I want to go to Kentucky. I want to go to Asbury, or I want to go to Samford and Birmingham, and I want to pursue my master's in divinity. But I feel you saying, wait, because you need more training, because your heart is in young adult ministry as well as the full church. And so you need more training in that. Can you let me mold you and receive more training in that area before you dive straight in? And so next year I'll be going to Auburn. Whether that be for a year, for an internship, or for longer, for a youth pastor position, I'm going to be in Auburn. And so I felt the Holy Spirit tell me, wait, because I need to do more refining in you before you continue on through ordination. I know that you want this. I know you want to be the youngest person ever to get ordained or whatever, and that's not going to be the case. But I know that there's a time and place for everything that Lord calls on your life. Even if he tells you it next week, he may wait 10 years. I mean, think about David. He was anointed in the Old Testament, and then it was years before he became king. And there was so much steps in between that. And I know that the Lord has good plans for my life, but this is where I have to practice patience in the moment, because I know that my desires will match his. It just may not be in my timing.
So again, this is preview of Sunday, because this was probably part 1 and part 2 messages sort of combined, because it's coming from the same chapter. So in this, what can be billed as waiting,
Mm-hmm.
you're waiting, but you're not staring.
No.
Do you agree with that?
Oh, I am working hard.
You're doing something,
Yes.
right? You're not just sitting there going, okay, I'm just going to wait around for a year
Mm-hmm.
and then go.
No.
Okay.
I'm hands and feet fully in ministry. So
But it's not what you believe your future ministry is
Right.
going to be, right?
yeah.
But you're involved in it now.
Yeah.
So
So, and I don't know the purpose of that yet, but I know that he will reveal it in his time.
okay. Well, one of the purposes was to win over half of our staff wanting to keep you on staff. So I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Nick, anything come to mind as you were pondering over there, or did your ADD kick in and talk about something else, like what to eat for dinner tonight?
I mean, always. But there's a guy I listen to a lot. He was talking about pain, like hard things recently, but I think it applies here. The idea of like, don't waste your pain. I think that in terms of like in the middle of hard situations, Jesus is always up to something. And we've kind of run those routes recently here on the podcast. But in those waiting moments, don't waste your waiting. I mean, Acts 1, I actually did when did you have me do that act, the end of Acts when they weren't alive? You had me do a sermon, and it was the end of Acts chapter 1. I think it was like it was about a year ago. And it was that moment where they elect.
Well, I need to go listen to it, because I'm going to preach on Acts 1 again. So maybe I'll need to go listen. I'm just kidding.
I remember being assigned it, where it was when they replaced Judas. But one of the things happening, it's the exact example of what you're saying, where it's wait on the Holy Spirit, but that doesn't mean you just sit there like a bump on a log. There's other work to do. And I would argue that Peter and whoever was involved there that had that gift of administration understood, wait, hold up. Just because God has said I haven't gotten the green light on this very specific thing, that doesn't mean he's not doing anything else. Like God can actually multitask. I know that's hard to consider for us sometimes because we can, but like this idea of like, oh, well, wait, God has given me these gifts, and while I'm waiting on this thing, that doesn't mean that he's okay with me wasting my time. There's a line in the GMC Clarity Vows. Is it? It's about using your time well. Do you remember the wording? I can't.
It was, do not let your hands be idle, basically.
Yeah.
There was some phrasing along that line. Do you promise to not have idle hands? Literally, it was almost, I think the word idle was used.
That sounds right.
I think Wesley used that.
That's
Luckily, don't waste your time.
In a big way, right? Like there's a thing of like, hey, if, for example, you're waiting on a job interview, or like, hey, I know if somebody's like, hey, I know I'm going into a new job. I mean, this is Sarah's situation.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I've got a new thing coming up soon. I know that I've got a month left to covenant. God is not okay with the version of this where I'm spending a month staring over at the greener grass. If he wanted me there right now, I would be there right now.
Mm-hmm.
The month between now and then is very specifically like ordained in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think we realize sometimes that Jesus really does have a handle on those little things, like it was back in October, we were up in North Georgia with my family on a trip, and I don't know why, and I still can't explain this, but for some reason in Atlanta, me and Lauren got through, and then my brother and sister-in-law and their kids were half an hour behind us. They got stuck on the interstate because of a bomb threat for like 4 or 5 hours. Some things are just accidental, but like at the end of the day, I don't know what Jesus is up to there. I don't know if there was a reason that in his sovereignty he said, no, you guys actually aren't going to get home when you think you're going to get home. I'm not saying that there's a holy thing happening always, but I think it's happening. There is something happening much more often than we think. And in these moments, I just think we miss it unless we have this mentality of like, Jesus, I'm looking for what you're doing around me. Hey, I've got a month left here at this church. I want to spend the rest of this time well. That doesn't mean I'm going to burn myself out. I want whatever you have for me to do. I want that. Or any kind of waiting season. Like, hey, we're waiting on the Holy Spirit. We're a man short. We need to fill Judas's spot. And we have the go ahead from the Holy Spirit to do that now. Great. Let's not waste time. Because when the moment comes, we don't want to be twiddling our thumbs. You know what I mean? Like there's this mentality, and I'm going to use the word every here, and I don't use it lightly. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Every effective person that we find in the Bible has that mindset of, I'm looking alive. I'm looking for what God is doing around me. And when the moment comes, I'm ready. What's the luck definition? Luck is the intersection between preparation and opportunity.
That's
right.
pretty good.
I think I heard that once in my life.
Sorry, I thought it was this.
No, I've heard it twice.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have this longing to see the people, not just Covenant, but just our brothers and sisters throughout the city and in this area just start taking themselves a bit more seriously. And like, oh, I think Jesus is actually preparing me. There is something on the horizon. Okay, great. I should look and seek what the Lord has for me today so that when the moment comes, I don't miss it.
I like the mentality, and this is definitely a bumper sticker, so just know that.
Uh-huh.
Worshiping while you wait, and like not worshiping in the sense of attending worship service, which you should, but like worshiping with like I keep saying, your hands and your feet. Like if you like, I don't know, like there's so many different ways to plug in, at least at Covenant and other places too, but like with the nursery or the children's or with the youth or with Serve Day or with cancer care or with other things, there are so many ways to plug in. And that is like an easier way. If you don't have to be in charge of anything, you're just simply doing what you're asked to do in a serving manner. And so like that's a great way to worship while you wait, while you're waiting on the Holy Spirit to tell you specifically where he's leading you. And he may be specific or he may be very broad, but just like in the meantime, worshiping with your hands and feet while you wait can be really cool. And so, yeah.
Thank y'all. Well, we got one question, so we're good. So thank y'all very much. We actually did a sort of a prequel to the Sunday message. Thank y'all for helping out with that.
Yeah.
Oh, for this coming week.
Yeah, because I'm really teaching that passage again, that the one that you said
Yeah.
you preached. So I'm not going to go back and listen to it. So I have plausible deniability. If I say something that you said, I can actually truthfully say I did not listen to what Nick said.
It's like we all read the same book or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why that's fresh to my mind? Because not only did I do that last May, that's the sermon that I filled in for at Headland when Bobby, yeah.
Okay.
Back when they needed an emergency Sunday covered.
Yeah. So that's why you remember it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Yeah, because I was out that Sunday. I'm pretty sure that's why you were preaching.
Mm-hmm.
I was out.
Yeah.
I was out. So, that was my wedding weekend. I think I had to suffer in the Caribbean.
That's exactly what that was.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just suffer in St. Lucia for a wedding. So somebody's got to go.
I think I've just heard Alan say "poor thing" in the background, and that was really good. And I didn't want our audience to miss that.
Alan, you too can officiate weddings. Yeah, you too. You can go to I too can officiate weddings.com or something like that. So
It's not a covenant with God. Just,
no
point.
I think Mark Hamill got his
In Alabama, that's unnecessary.
Yeah, you don't need one in Alabama. That's right.
Lots of UPS.
That's right. You notarized, didn't you? So that's all you need in Alabama. All right. Well, thank y'all. And I do hope we have a church that understands the difference between waiting and the difference between staring and that waiting is literally not being idle. Staring is, but waiting is not. Thank you guys. Have a great week to all those who are listening. Happy post-Easter. Number of things coming up in the life of the church you do not want to miss. April 19th and 20th. What's the name of that conference again?
Fresh, real, free.
Fresh, Real, Free. That's right?
Yes.
Okay. Special guest from California will be sharing with us Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Monday night. And then some of us have to hang around for an annual conference thing coming up 8th, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I will ask certain people to come to that.
Mm-hmm. It's for all people who are not normal, apparently.
That's right. Because there are open meetings for most of annual conference. There's only one business session that lasts an hour. Everything else is open, is worship and teaching. And then on May 4th, Nick Shepherd will be ordained elder. So
Thank you.
I'm not going to call you Elder Nick. I'm just going not going to do that.
I've never called you that.
Yeah,
I can promise you that.
Okay. So, all right. Well, thanks to God, and mark those dates on your calendar. And of course, every Sunday, we hope to see you 8:30, 9:55, and online at the same time, or on tape delay, or whatever it's called. All right. Thanks. See y'all.